If you're a permanent makeup artist and you keep hearing, invest in more courses, learn more techniques, add to your services, it will get you more clients. This video might completely change how you look at your career. I am giving you my honest take over the past 4 years, all of my experiences, taking courses, getting burned, losing money, expanding my services, and what is actually worth it and what is going to be a waste of time. So save your money and sit back and let's jump into it. My name's Isabel. If you haven't been to my channel before, I'm a 6-figure permanent makeup artist. I'm also the founder of the Permanent Profits in-house marketing solution. We put consultations right on your calendar using a 3-step system. It's seamless. It's how I went from part-time and struggling to full-time, making my dream income and literally working 3 days a week. Let's talk about courses and what's going to actually fuel your business forward in permanent makeup. Courses are expensive, and we all know this. If you're a beginner at one point, obviously that 4-day, 5-day beginner course is probably costing you between $3,000 to $5,000, which totally, if a trainer is good at what they do and they do a model for you and you get to practice on someone live, that's a great investment. You obviously want something that's a little bit smaller in size so you can get your hands on, you can get real feedback, and that's great. Everyone needs to start somewhere. But as you grow as an artist and you start to look into other courses or you want to add to your services, you realize or maybe you didn't realize, that there's just very little regulation as far as who can train. Anyone can kind of create a course, anyone can sell to you. I remember taking a 2-day course in Philadelphia and it was an absolute train wreck. It was like a one-on-one and you could tell she just was not prepared. She was on her phone when I was doing my client and it just felt like such a rip off. So I hate for any other artist to have an experience like that. And I think doing your research and just like understanding what is actually going to be valuable for you is a really important piece. Not everyone should be teaching. You can probably see that online. People that just want to jump into training, maybe because they're not getting regular clients, which just means that they're not fine-tuning their skills. They probably never have, and they're not going to be able to teach you anything about client acquisition, which is obviously the second most important thing next to learning the technique. What I would absolutely do if I started over was learn one technique, whether it's microblading, powder brow, nano brows. Learn one technique and just get your reps in. It's really fun to see how all different artists do their brows or lips or whatever you want to learn, but it's also really important to get your reps in yourself and develop your own artistry. So I did this really, really quick in the beginning. Instead of just learning powder brows, I was like, I want to add lips, I want to add liner. And I did all of these things, but it definitely took me longer to just master one of them because my focus was just too broad. The key lesson that I'm trying to convey here is taking one course and then getting your reps, which probably means having a client acquisition system in place to actually learn, get reps, and then taking another course, or to save money and just kind of like build your bank account, build your portfolio, going back to that artist and watching, or going back to your videos and studying, and actually like using all of the people and resources around you before you need to go spend another $4,000, $5,000. Nothing replaces doing real clients and seeing from your own healed work like what needs improvement. So this is crucial. When you take a course, you at least want to do a batch of clients, see the healed work, get feedback for yourself. No trainer can really teach you like that perfect feeling of depth in the skin. Yes, they might be able to give you feedback and say you went too deep on this client, if you're there doing it in front of them. But the truth is, like, you get your experience from touch. And so much of my growth has happened over the past 1 year because I've had 15 to 20 new clients every single month. And that alone will help you just develop so much faster than any artist. If you just have clientele like coming in and you getting your actual repetitions done and seeing healed results. Once you already have that skill down, you don't need to then go take more classes. Actually, what I do, and I will always forever recommend to everyone, is I've taken probably 4, 5, 6 classes around the US and Canada. And honestly, I go back to one of my trainers who is pretty local to me. I ask if I can sit in, I watch, I suck up knowledge, I go and I implement it myself. And this has honestly been, number one, an absolute game changer for saving time and money. And number two, it just gives me instant feedback, or it gives me new sort of techniques or reminders on what I can do to improve. I don't need 10 different trainings to develop my own way of doing brows, and I don't need 10 different trainings to help me master the skill. Mastering the skill comes from practicing, and that practicing is truly all up to you after you leave a course. Online courses also make sense when you're experienced artist. Maybe it makes more sense for you to buy an online course to see someone else's technique rather than go in person, spend days, pay a full price of a beginner course again. Online courses are really, really great for just seeing how other artists work. It's really important to understand that adding more services does not mean necessarily making more money. If you can master one brow service, you can literally have a full-blown business just doing brows. I do 90% of my business just powder brow appointments. And truly, you might think, well, what about nano? Like, what about things that are getting more popular? There is always going to be a demand for every single brow technique. A lot of buyers, depending on where you're located, don't even really know the main differences, what would be suitable for them. So when you get them to come in the studio and you explain what you do and you show them a little preview of kind of what to expect, people are really open to saying yes. And once they see something that they like and they feel like it's a good fit for them, it doesn't matter if they had previously thought, oh, nano, I want nano, nano looks best. They can actually become educated, see a result, and once they love it and you convey that you can get them that result, they will buy. There's definitely a big industry myth that you need to be offering all the things. And while that's great and you can totally upsell to your lash liner or your eyeliner or your lip blush, it's definitely not necessary. Mastering a skill and then mastering how to market that skill is by far the best business strategy that you can use today. It's like adding a lash lift and a brow lamination and a brow wax and not knowing where those clients are coming from either. So if you don't have a strategy in place, think about fixing that rather than adding more services. So there's kind of a mixed up mindset here of if I add more people will come. And truly, that's not the reality. What I will say is the upside of me doing lip blush and liner is that most of my clients for those services come from my brow clients who I've had that now trust me and want to buy again from me. So it can increase your lifetime value of your customer, but if you are having a hard time acquiring clients for brows, it's going to be even harder for lips and especially liner. So these services are much less common. Yes, they're increasing in popularity, but brows are going to be the easiest, most common, best-selling service that you'll be able to advertise at the cheapest cost and you'll have the least amount of friction with. So as most artists kind of focus on technique and growth and becoming that master artist by taking courses and continuing to invest in themselves, there is definitely a wall that you hit where all of your growth can come from yourself and just bringing clients in and executing beautiful brows and doing it over and over and over. So don't get caught up in the noise, all the fancy machines, famous artists and courses. You don't need that to succeed. If you want to do it because it inspires you, because that is honestly the reason I've done my past few trainings is to just feel re-inspired, that is amazing. But once your work looks good, focus on getting attention and generating bookings. Courses can teach you how to do brows, how to do lips, but they will not teach you how to get the booking. So that is the key to building a booked out business. If you're a permanent makeup artist and you want to stop guessing at your marketing, if you want to just feel booked out, stress-free, raising your prices as you should if you're an experienced artist, I have 2 ways that I can help you. Number 1 is booking a call, learning more about how my life actually transformed as a permanent makeup artist. I wouldn't be here, sitting here, making this video today if it weren't for actually having a marketing system that worked. I've worked with agencies. I've done all the things that everyone talks about doing, all the trainers said to do to fill my books. But it's 2026. Times are harder. You can't just run a before and after online. There are real ways to fill your books, and I can absolutely help you with that. Jump on a call. It's pressure free. I will just tell you straight up if you're a good fit. Number 2, if you are a new artist, you just are learning the basics, you are just beginning, taking your courses, don't stress. There are still ways for you to market yourself as well. I have a free community. I will teach you the marketing basics. You can get your own ad up and running, and you can find this in the links below. See you in the next video.